and welcome back to another video. The other day I was kind of thinking about how far I've come in terms of managing like my own restrictive and obsessive thoughts around food and weight. Definitely struggled with disordered eating for a large part of my life, like I am sure so many of us have. I'm a professional coach now, and so I would like to think that I've mostly got past all of this stuff and that I'm well educated and I can like suss out marketing techniques in regards to food. But if I'm being really honest with myself, I think that subconsciously a lot of how and why I eat is still because of these eating disorder rules that kind of like govern my life, whether I've created them for myself or diet culture has created them for me. And so I want to try and get rid of these rules and these thoughts once and for all. I obviously know it's going to take a bit more than that, but I hope that I can move past them, and I hope that I can help some of you guys to do the same if you have some of these restrictions placed upon yourself. Because I really believe that it's time, guys. No time like the present. Life is way too short to be continuously ruled by fear. That is kind of like my motto for this year. Try not to be afraid anymore. Here are the 5 rules that I'm going to be tackling throughout this week. So let's start the challenge, shall we? I would love to pretend that that B-roll footage of me making a coffee was filmed in the morning, but alas, I am an excellent sleeper and a bit of a princess, so other people who get up earlier are kind and they make coffee for me. This is a kind of a weird one though, to be honest, because I think I've just had coffee and no breakfast in the morning for so long that now I'm genuinely not hungry in the morning, but I don't know if the root cause of why I don't have breakfast is because of one of those diet rules that I set for myself. Like, I actually remember only recently did I just start adding like chocolate to my coffees. So that's another one of those things that I think is just kind of lingered on, but it's time for it to go. So here's some footage of breakfast.
That was actually a little bit harder than I thought it was. I think I'm still very rigid when it comes to how I choose to eat and things like that. Feels really weird, kind of unpleasant to be honest, but oh well. I'm glad I'm kind of like pointing out that these things are still tough, but doing them anyway.
This one I thought was super interesting because even though this is probably something that I break all the time, they need to stop childproofing the bags, by the way, but it's still something that I struggle with internally. I still have that kind of morality associated with it. Like, it's gonna make me a bad person or it's gonna make me fail at what? I don't know. But it was kind of nice to just give myself permission to. It still felt a little weird, I'm not gonna lie to you, but I had Spike there for support, so it was okay. And then I demolished them and they tasted fantastic. I love those nuggets. And as I was trying to show you, I spilt everything all over my laptop. So the panic was very real here. I think we're doing okay so far. I don't know whether 20 chicken nuggets was an ideal decision. Like, it was delicious. And I'm not saying that that was bad, but just feeling a bit tired and stuff afterwards. It didn't make me feel my best. I think maybe next time I will share my chicken nuggets. I'm like a 2-year-old, I need to be taught how to share, like seriously. As a self-appointed carb queen, this one is a little bit hard to admit because I'm not immune from hearing everybody's concerns about carbohydrates, even though I think they're wrong. I mean, carbs can be sexy, look at that. Oh, so good. Joke's gone on a little long. But this rule for me is about not eating refined carbs or like bread and pasta in the same day. I do it all the time, but I still feel really shameful about it, and that makes me feel like crap, and I don't need to feel like that. This is my favorite lasagna that I make. It's my partner's favorite dish that I cook for him. So this is so much more than just macronutrients or a carbohydrate. This food is joy. It makes me so happy seeing people's reaction when they eat it, and I love making it. It's like an expression of love. So why am I like making myself feel shame for something that brings so much joy and brings so much other value to my life other than simply a calorie? I don't know why I do this. Food doesn't have to just be fuel. It can be pleasure, and that is completely okay, and I really need this lesson to remind myself of that. We deserve to eat food that makes us dance and that makes us feel good and happy and makes us want to do weird hip movement. And we deserve food that makes us want to eat the leftovers and lick our fingers. And you know what? I really did enjoy this. I think I'm going to take a lot from this lesson. room is a mess. Apologies. Mostly my fault. So I did the eating after 7 p.m. one, and it's something that I do all the time. But for some reason, making this video, it made me like go back to that place where I was like, ooh, this is not fun. And then I feel the need to like drink an excessive amount of water and stuff afterwards to try and like make up for it. But I know that that's ridiculous, but that doesn't mean that it feels less ridiculous. I have a memory of when I was about 13, and I think maybe it was like a Kate Hudson diet or something like that, and Kate Hudson said that you should never eat after 7 p.m. And I remember my family came home and they had brought takeaway home with them. I had not eaten anything all day. Obviously takeaway smelled good, I was starving, and then I went to heat up the food in the microwave, and I was like sobbing in front of the microwave because I felt like such a failure. And I felt that way at like 13, and how upsetting. And I feel sad that I wasted so much time worrying about that stuff, and I feel upset that other people are going to waste so much of their time worrying about that stuff. It's okay to feel like this, but we have to fight back and we have to be proactive and challenge these thoughts. And this was a little bit of a tough one, but I did it. Kind of scary to know that those thoughts are still there, even though I thought they weren't. We can do this, guys. As a bit of a bonus, as we lead into this last rule, I kind of wanted to get some insight from people in my life to see if disordered eating or diet culture has had an effect on them. So let's see what they have to say.
I think some of the diet rules I've always heard was like, you should be thin because thin people are healthier and fitter, and everything's better if you're thinner. I know that's not necessarily true. Also, there's just so many things that you get bombarded with, such as don't eat carbs, eat carbs, don't eat oils, eat oils. Fats are the enemy, fats aren't the enemy. Sugar's the enemy, sugar's not the enemy. Fast until lunchtime, eat your fruit first. Water will fill you up. If you're hungry, just have water. It's just crazy. Just if you go out with people, even if you're starving, you feel like you can't eat as much as you want to eat because you'll look gluttonous, or you can't have that cake because everyone else is having an apple.
It's cooked. What do you think we'd think about if we didn't have all of this?
I know. We could probably get on living a happier life, probably.
Yeah.
If we just let ourselves just eat, just be.
This one was interesting because it kind of brings about the topic of cravings and things like that, and eating when you don't feel hungry. And if you do, well then, aren't you the worst? That's the kind of internal monologue. But we went to this amazing vegan dim sum restaurant and I ate well past the point where I was full, and it was incredible. And I had an amazing time with my family, who I don't often get to see because I've moved countries. Just remind me that you deserve to eat and enjoy life without worrying about any of this stuff. We can be healthy and exist in bigger bodies, and we can be healthy and exist in smaller bodies. Health is so subjective, and it's not a dream body if it is a nightmare to maintain. Food is so much more than fuel, and it allows us to bond with people. It's tradition, culture, and heritage. It's a shared experience, and it is pleasure. It doesn't have to be more than that, and we don't owe anyone an explanation about how, what, or why we eat.